Alliance for Equality is our new year-round organization launched to solve the gap of basically having an LGBTQI2S organization at all in our area year-round, providing basically advocacy. And we're working on how to build this organization into what the community needs. We're in a pretty heavy listening phase right now to the community, and we dedicated a whole day at Pride this year to do just that. We've received some local funding from the Equinox Foundation, Emily French, and other wonderful businesses around town to make this possible, to have some paid organizers. And we intend to be around forever. Or until everybody's safe. Okay, so I'll read you our mission statement, which maybe you haven't heard before. SAFE is a locally led, grassroots, multi-generational community organization where LGBTQI2S plus individuals and families interact, learn, reflect, and experience joy. SAFE is a free and fearless space created to disseminate anti-democratic and homophobic hostilities in Idaho. And damn, do we have a lot of work to do. By show of hands, this is a little bit of a question for the audience, so I need some participation. And don't be nosy, don't stare around at other people's hands in there. By a show of hands, in the past week or months, how many of you have felt increased anxiety or fear? How many of you have lowered your voice and looked around before speaking openly about your values or party affiliation? Experienced dismissal or disrespect by a family member, coworker, or friend? These experiences are what our queer and trans neighbors feel every day. It is their ongoing resilience in the face of a millennia-old adversity and struggle from which we can learn the space to defy, resist, and endure. So queer voices, trans voices, actions are the leaders of this moment. They're in the room. We need to listen and lift them up and protect and hold, not in charity, but in solidarity. Okay, so a few ideas of how to do that. I'm at a loss maybe, or I feel frozen, or I feel sad. And this isn't the Queer or Fear Olympics. Everybody can be sad and still hold that space and understand that we have some privilege in the room at the same time. Maybe you could research a queer activist who came before you, or a leader in this community, and learn about them and speak their name to truth with a friend over coffee. A simple action to defy the silence that this administration will demand out of fear. Maybe you can connect with someone you don't know well who might be struggling and offer solidarity during these hard times. Or you can follow us on Instagram and learn about the great things that Jen's going to talk about in 5 minutes. The last one's a little lighter. So Pride has an Instagram handle. SAFE is building a different handle just because one's going to be event-oriented and posts about all the gay joy that we do on 2 days a year, and then the SAFE stuff's going to be more of our programming. So if you follow Pride, you can find us there, but it's SAFE Idaho is the handle, and we have 90 followers before I started speaking, and so if I had 100 before I left, that would be great. It's almost like turning out to vote. You do it now. Okay, so together, Pro-Voice and SAFE will be working to create and hold space for defiance and action together. Jen and I met this week to kind of call this space together and start the idea that both of our organizations exist to hold us safe and accountable to changing the landscape. So we need your ideas. Jen's going to talk a little bit about the purpose of the Pandora's Box. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jen Jackson Quintano. And I know she doesn't really need an introduction, but I need to share that the first time I read her bio, it said that she was an arborist, but I read abortionist. And I was like, damn, that's awesome. And now she identifies as an abortionist. So Jen Jackson Quintano.
This is pretty awesome. If any of you felt alone last Wednesday, I bet you don't feel that way right now. Yeah. We're not alone in this community, right? Look at this room right here. This is amazing. This is the heart of Sandpoint that is right here. And I just want to give you all a hand for being here in Defiant. And I will say, with the work that I've been doing with the Pro Voice Project, I've been traveling around the state, going to different communities, and there aren't any communities that have anything on Sandpoint. You all are amazing. You show up in amazing numbers to events. You show up with passion. You show up informed about the issues. You are incredible, and I'm always so grateful to come home to this community. So you make that possible. And in the aftermath of last week, I don't want you to lose what makes this community special. Okay, I know that a lot of us felt like we had to get peeled off the sidewalk last week. We were disappointed, we were outraged, we were grieving. All of that is valid, but I don't want that to impact your ability to come out to events like this and to support one another and to hold up your community. Because this right here is what makes us special, and we need to hold space for that. So right now, the election is over. No one is campaigning. The legislative session has not yet started. We're in this liminal space right now, where we don't have to be pissed off about stuff. I mean, we can be pissed off about last week, but right now, we're in a space where we can sow some seeds for what the next 2 years, the next 4 years are going to be like. We have some energy right now. We have some time to fortify ourselves for what is to come. And right now, I would posit that your enemies are not people at this point. Your enemies are not people. I think the greatest enemies that we have right now are fear, isolation, chaos, and exhaustion. And those things are going to keep washing over us in waves over the next number of years, and we need to be able to combat those things. And right now is a really good time. So how do we combat fear? We learn to trust one another. We trust ourselves, we trust our intuitions, we trust our friends, we build networks of trust. Who are healthcare providers we can trust, who are educators we can trust. We share that information with others. And we come up with ways to build trust, because that's what they don't want us to do. That's why we see legislation that we're seeing right now, to sort of keep us from trusting one another, keeping information to ourselves, not helping one another. The other thing is isolation. How do we combat that? We combat that with community. We combat that with events like this. This is amazing. Community is not online. It's not like you can be a part of a Facebook group with 10,000 members. That's not your community. This is your community right here, right? So right now is a really important time to build community. I don't care if you organize a book club. I don't care if you organize a regular Wednesday beer together. It doesn't matter what it is, but I want you to be meeting with the people that sustain you and people that you trust, because you all are going to need to lean on one another in the years to come, okay? The next thing is chaos. There's going to be a lot of chaos, right? How do we combat that? We combat that with personal clarity. And a part of that is being willing to grieve what has happened and the hopes that we've lost. And that is a part of what this Pandora's box is over here. A lot of you are probably familiar with the myth of Pandora's box and the idea of opening this jar, and all this chaos sort of is unleashed upon the world, right? Tonight, I would encourage you each to write down, if you haven't already, the things that you're most afraid of that might be coming down the pike for our community, for our state, for the nation. And I want you to shove that back in Pandora's box, okay? And in writing down those fears, it's not you perseverating on those fears. It's you getting clear on what you fear. And it's you being able to release that. Put that in that box. And then what Andrea and I are going to do in the coming days and weeks is we're going to go through those things that have been put in Pandora's box by our community. And we're going to figure out what our community is afraid of. And we're going to respond to that. We're going to do that on social media with the Pro-Voice Project Instagram and the SAVE Instagram. And it's a way for us to respond to what's in the hearts of our community, and it's a way for us to continue to build trust and community and clarity. That last thing we need to combat is that sense of exhaustion. And I'm sure some of you feel like you worked so hard on campaigns, you campaigned so hard, you had such high hopes, you did everything that you could, and it didn't work out. But exhaustion is dangerous too. And so I would encourage you to determine what it is hyper-locally here in San Juan that you are really committed to. What is really important to you? And I want you to recommit to that thing that you're passionate about. It can be reproductive rights. It could be volunteering for SAFE. It could be something around education or the library. I don't care what it is, but I need you to find something that you're willing to commit to, because that's going to get you out of bed each day when the news cycle sucks. And we know it's going to suck, okay? I also think now is a time where a lot of the solutions are going to come rather than like rallying in the streets. I think it's us gathering around kitchen tables and coming up with solutions and talking about the ways that we can link arms and protect those in our community that don't have the same privilege that we do, those that are vulnerable in our community. Meet up with your friends, talk about it. What is the thing that you can do to help protect those that don't have the same privilege as you? And this is where Andrea and I are able to team up with our organizations. Safe is, okay, how do we keep people in our community safe that are vulnerable? And then with the Pro-Voice Project, Defiance of silence. It's about speaking up. And so those of you in this room who have the privilege and the ability to speak up, please do so for those who don't silence yourself. This is a time to be open and honest and vocal and be seen about what is important to you. Things that are actionable right now, both of our organizations could use volunteers and donations. That's really important for both of us to continue to pursue our goals. So that is something very actionable you can do. And just really, like I said, wrap your arms around your community, people and the institutions that need you. Teresa is holding up the abortion is healthcare yard sign. If anyone wants to be vocal by putting that out, we've got more of those signs. And then also, as far as reproductive rights are concerned, one shining light right now is we will soon have a ballot initiative, a reproductive freedom ballot initiative in Idaho. We will be able to collect signatures for that in the coming year. And if there's one thing that we learned on election night is that abortion is not a partisan issue. It's not at all. It's the one bright light that we saw. People were able to vote Republican and also vote for abortion rights. And there's a lot I could say about how one vote cancels the other out. But the important thing is that they're voting for reproductive rights. And we will have a chance to vote on that here in Idaho in 2026, which is really exciting. So we're going to need all of your help here. We know that Bonner County can lead the way for the rest of the state. We know that a lot of us in this room can step up and help this statewide initiative because we're really good at this stuff. So I'm excited to work with you all in the coming year, and please sign up in the back if you are interested in volunteering with our groups or being on our mailing list. I encourage you to put those fears in the Pandora's box. Like I said, we will respond to that. And thank you for being here. This is amazing. Please give yourselves a hand up.
Okay, so how this ends is you go and talk to someone and talk about your fear, how you're going to put it in the box, and then what you're going to do. So enjoy the rest of your night, and thank you so much for being here.